Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Morning, Tara. Morning, Jessie.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh. So we're just gonna wait for everyone to arrive, and then
And I'm going to shut my notifications. Put my phone on airplane mode. Let me just quickly tell my partner not to let my son in. Live training 2.5 hours.
Cool. Thanks for coming, everyone. We'll just get started in a couple of minutes.
Hi. So how many have we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. Cool. Let's kick things off. So hello everyone. I'm Tara. I'm one of the co-founders of Bread and Jam. Thanks for coming along today. So today we have Jessie from WEBTOPIA who's going to be talking about Facebook and Instagram ads 101. So we're going to go through I suppose all the stages of setting up your first ad. Super exciting. So the way that this is going to run is because it's pretty hands-on. I've unmuted you all. So if you have a question, please unmute and jump in and ask, and Jessie will be able to help you out. But otherwise, if you could mute yourself just so that kids, dogs, and other things in the background don't disrupt the session. Cool. So take it away, Jessie.
Cool. Hi guys. So I'm Jessie from WEBTOPIA, which is a digital marketing agency I founded, which specializes in Facebook and Instagram ads for e-commerce businesses. So businesses selling physical products, which food is very much included in. Food and drink is very much included in. So today, what we've got on the agenda, can you all see my screen? Yes? No?
Yeah, we're all good. You might want to put it into presentation mode.
Oh, yeah, sure. I will do. Hold on. How do I move this? Okay. Cool. So what we're going to cover today is making sure you've got, getting access to your ad account in Pixel. For those of you who are here, do you guys know how to hit the wave button? If you can wave if you've already got an ad account and Pixel set up. No, I don't know if that's working. Maybe people don't have their cameras on. Okay, well, I'll just assume you have an ad account and we'll just talk about the Pixel in just a little bit. We're going to go through.
There's about half of the people in the room
Okay.
got that. They put their hand up.
Okay, cool. Okay. I can't. Why can't I see, but you can?
If you look at attendees, like they kind of just flick up.
Where did you?
So everyone's got their hand down now.
Because all I can see on my people view is just people's names in a blank square.
Oh, okay. It might be because I'm the host.
Okay. Okay.
So that might be, maybe you could put it in the chat. Yeah, there's a couple of people who kind of mentioned it in the chat. If you want to pop the chat out.
Okay, cool. Look, how do I do that? So is Q&A different from chat? More?
Yeah, so there's chat, which is like a speech bubble thing.
Oh yeah, cool. Okay, cool. I will just
shut there you go.
Yeah. So okay. So most people don't have either yet. We have an ad account in Pixel. We don't have an ad account or Pixel. Don't know what it is. Okay. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Okay, we'll cover that. How to check if your Pixel is working, how to set up audiences, setting up, mapping out your campaign structure. like what audiences you're going to target, who you're going to target, how long you're going to target them for. And then once we've got that nitty gritty out of the way, we'll set up the ads. And I know you're all here to set up ads, but it's a bit like when you're painting a room, you need to do the sanding, you need to prep the surfaces, you need to do the undercoat, because without that, the paint looks terrible and doesn't stay on the walls. So there's a little prep work to do first. And actually, what surprised me when we did painting in my house, the painting part is the quickest bit at the end once you've done the prep really well. So that setting up of the ad might only take 10 or 20 minutes. But that's because you've done all the prep work prior to that. So that's why we're doing it in that order, but we definitely will get to the ads before the end of the session. So without further ado then, so someone said they don't know what an ad account or pixel is. So going back to the very basics, the pixel is Facebook's tracking system. So before you set up your ads, well, you'll set up your ad account and they'll give you a unique pixel ID. And this is something that you'll need to put on your website. And that's how Facebook will know whether someone's visited your site, whether someone's purchased something from your site. And without that pixel, so the pixel is like the brain of your campaign, because the reason why Facebook ads, Facebook and Instagram ads are arguably the most powerful direct response channel that the world has ever seen is because of the pixel, because the pixel sits on everybody's sites on the internet watching what we're all doing. I know it's creepy, but it's also fantastic. It's a fantastic leveler. Small businesses like you guys and like my clients can access the exact right people who want to buy from them, because the pixel's so smart at figuring out who those people might be. And so that pixel sits on all the sites on the internet. Facebook's constantly analyzing them and using that data to know who to show your ads to. So if you were to run a campaign just directing traffic to your site and you didn't have that tracking set up, it's what I would call just dumb traffic. You'd just be sending any old people. It's like, you know, setting up your food stall in the middle of an empty field, or like in the middle of a field of people that would never buy your food. That's not the best metaphor, but basically, without the pixel, you're just not going to be able to get in front of the right people who are going to buy from you, and you're going to be wasting money. So I'll show you where you find that in your ad account. But first and foremost, let's jump into Business Manager. So, right. So here we go. So this is Facebook Business Manager. Now, if you don't have an ad account set up yet, the first thing you want to do, and you can maybe do this while I'm talking, is you want to go to business.facebook.com/create. And this is where you can set up a business manager for your business. Now, Business Manager and Ads Manager are two different things. Business Manager is like the home for your business, where you'll house your ad account, your page, your Facebook page, your Instagram page, and a few other bits and pieces that are related to Facebook. So if you don't have Business Manager already, you want to set this up. If you do have a Facebook page for your business, you'll want to share that Facebook page with Business Manager. And then if you don't have an ad account yet, you can set one up in Business Manager once you've set Business Manager up. And if you do have an ad account but don't have Business Manager, you'll want to move your ad account into Business Manager. I know that's all quite super overwhelming, but the steps in here should be pretty straightforward. You click on Create Account, and you'll get a screen like this, and you'll name it after your business, like My Apple Business, your name, your email, like this. I'm not going to dwell on this heaps because most people on the call, I think, already have this. And then you'll put in your business details. You'll click Promote My Own Goods and Services, and then you'll click on Submit, and that will create Business Manager. And then once you've got that, so I'm going to go into my own company Business Manager here. And in here, so this is where I can see like the pages that are attached to my Business Manager. and you should be able to, from here, create an ad account, which is here. You'd select add account, click on add, and you would create a new ad account here, and you would name the ad account test ad account. You wouldn't name it test ad account, you would name it like Apple business ad account. Really important thing here is make sure you've got the right time zone for which your business operates in and for which you want to be reporting in. I presume for most of you guys that will be the UK. There might be a tiny, number of you who operate your business somewhere else. I've had clients who have accidentally set it up on US time. Really frustrating because it resets at an odd time of the day, and so when you're looking at the sales you've driven in a day, it doesn't match your Shopify or your other systems. And really important too is you want to select pound sterling, because that's the currency that your credit card will be charged in. So if you've got it in US dollars, you'll always be like, at the mercy of fluctuating exchange rates. So you would click on next, and then you'd put it in my business, create, bear with, and that's going to create the ad account. And then it might ask you to assign yourself, and you might have other team members that you want to assign to this ad account. So I'm just going to assign it to myself. This looks a bit different for me than you guys. This has got my whole team in here for my agency. So, but I'm not wanting any of them to access this new test account, just myself. And there you go. I've got that ad account now set up. Now I can go into business settings, and I can click on ads manager, and that will take me into my lovely brand new ad account, which is where we're going to set up the ads. Now, one thing, what was I going to do here? Yeah, so once you've got the ad account set up, if you don't have a pixel already, then you want to go into events manager here. And this is where you'll be able to set up your pixel if you don't have it already. So again, just to re-explain that, it's a piece of code, a tracking code that will be put on your site by your developer, or if you've got a Shopify site, there's an easy integration. And once that's on your site and working, you'll be able to track all of the performance of your campaigns. So if you go into this events manager, you'll be taken to a page here where it's got the setup instructions for your pixel. And you can, like, if you've got a Shopify site, you can click on use partner integration and click on Shopify and follow that through. But if not, you can manually add the pixel to your website. So here's the code here. This is the piece of code that you would go and put onto your website. So that's probably not something you can do live on this call. It's something that you'll probably have to do, take a bit of time out to do. We can still set up the ads though, and then once the pixel's set up, you can go back and sort that out. So I'll just show you guys what the pixel kind of looks like. It's not something that a user can see, but if you go to any website, so for instance, let me just think, this is one of my clients here. So what I've done is I've installed a browser plugin called the Facebook Pixel Helper. So this sits on my browser, so I can see what pixels are on any given site. So when I click on this little plugin, I can see here that this pixel is nice, showing a nice green tick, and that's her pixel. So anyone, you could go on her site and see that that's her pixel number. And then as you navigate the site, so let's just go to a product page. So here's a product page. So on this product page, we're seeing another event file, which is called view content. So it's sending information to Facebook that someone has just looked at this product page, and that's firing nicely. And then when I add to cart, it's fired an event saying add to cart. And if I were to do a purchase, it would also fire an event saying purchase. So to get that plugin on your site, you should go to the Chrome plugin library and Chrome Web Store, I think it's called. And you can search for Facebook Pixel Helper. And there it is. So mine says rate it because I've already got it, but if I didn't, it would have an add to Chrome button like that, and I'd be able to add it to Chrome, and that would be the way for you to check that your Facebook Pixel is working and sending the information that Facebook needs. Does anyone have any questions on setting up your ad account, Business Manager, and Pixel? Because I know that's quite a big chunk to get through, but I was trying to not go too slowly for those who have already got them set up.
I have a question. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep, I can.
Oh, I've lost you now. Anyway, so we have had our Pixel set up previously with our PR agency, but we've now set up our own with our own ad account.
Yeah.
We've only started running ads like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. What's your website?
Ncnean.com, Ncnean. NC, sorry, yeah, Ncnean.com. We're actually in the middle of changing website, so this will all change. But I've inputted the Pixel. This is a WordPress website. I've integrated the Pixel. It should end in 555. Yeah, so it's there. I've now set up some shopping, trying to set up a shopping Facebook ad, so driving to conversions. And we keep getting this message saying your ad might not be optimized for conversions because you haven't received any activity from conversions in the last 14 days. Is that just because we've not run shopping ads, so they can't get the data yet?
So do you have there been sales on your site in the last 14 days?
Yeah, there's been sales, but there's not been sales through a Facebook ad.
That's fine. It shouldn't matter. So the Pixel's going to track those sales whether or not they're a result of an ad. So all of the sales should go through the Pixel. So what you can do is go to, if you go to your Business Manager and then click on Events Manager, and then if you'll be able to see what events are firing, what events the Pixel can see. So bear with me now. So if I was to go to, here's an ad account that I can look at without, it would be a good one to show you guys. Yeah, these guys will be fine. So, so this is a client of mine's Pixel. And so we can click on Events Manager. We can click on her Pixel. And then we can actually see what Facebook's seeing. Now, this isn't just what Facebook's seeing from the ads, it's what Facebook's seeing across the whole site, because the Pixel's tracking everything that's happening.
Let me just see
what's that?
I'm just going to see if that's coming through on my thing.
Exactly. So here you can see we've had 1,000 purchases, we've had 1.4 thousand initiate checkouts, 3.6 thousand add to carts.
Yeah, I think it's only saying page views on here.
Right. So it sounds like you've set up the Pixel to track the page views, but you haven't set up the individual.
Okay.
Did you say it's WooCommerce?
Yeah, we're actually moving to Shopify in 2 weeks because Shopify is so much better. But
okay, I would probably wait if I was you, unless you're.
Shall I just wait? Okay.
Yeah. So when you set up the Shopify Pixel, it's so straightforward. It will just automatically add all of those events.
Yeah, I've done it before.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always, I struggle with WooCommerce. It's not that it's a bad platform by any stretch.
No, it's a bad platform.
It's just it requires a lot more kind of developer or technical knowledge.
Yes. Yeah.
And so some people love that though, because it's more adaptive.
Would there be no point then in running our ads, because we're going to have Father's Day ads, and obviously when our website isn't going to be ready for another 2 weeks, is there no point running the ads if you can't drive to purchase, or can you still you can obviously drive to purchase, but they're not optimized for it?
I personally wouldn't. It depends what's most important to you, but I know Father's Day is probably one of your biggest times of the year. I personally wouldn't spend any money without tracking, because not just because I wouldn't be able to see what has happened as a result of it, but because Facebook's not going to send good quality traffic, because you would have to basically run traffic ads, which
Okay.
is like lower quality traffic that doesn't, it's not like people that buy stuff. The only thing I would say, I mean, yeah, it's a tricky one. You could run a small traffic campaign just to like, you know, just to see, and you could look at correlations to see if you were getting people coming through. You know,
or we could run them to somewhere else, like not on the high street, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it would be the same problem with not on the
Yeah.
high street, because you still wouldn't be able to track the conversion. So you'd still be sending. If I was you, I'd probably rather send it to my site than not on the high street, even though.
Anyway, yeah.
Because at least you're building up your cookie pool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our site at the moment, we don't really want people, well, obviously we want people to shop through it, but it's not very good. And we've only just launched with it on the high street. So there is benefit to sending people there. But anyway, thanks for your help. That's very good to
Yeah, so there's potential strategic benefit to sending people to North so that you get like a good algorithm with them, and they like start to favor you and, you know, promote you more because you've done well. So yeah. Okay,
I'm conscious we're taking up other people's time by talking about this.
Thank
you very much.
The questions are very valuable because they help other people learn from your questions, so don't worry.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Anyone else got questions on the Pixel, the ad account, and the business manager?
Hi, I've just got a question because it says I don't have admin access, but I do have admin access. So I'm just wondering, when if I click on Pixels or ad accounts, and then if I go to ad, it said only business admins can take this action, but I do have business admin access, so I'm just not sure.
If you go to business.facebook.com and then go to business settings.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it now as well. And then just make sure that you've added yourself. So
yeah, under users and people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there. Oh, it says yeah.
So for the ad account itself, like say it was this one, you can see yourself here.
Sorry, let me just look at yours.
And then you've got
yeah, and it says I've got because they're all grayed out. They're not blue like that. They're all grayed out like the above ones.
Right. Even the manage ad account one.
Hang on a sec. Yeah, they're all grayed out.
And is it grayed out toggle to the left or grayed out toggle to the right?
To the right.
Okay, so you are an admin then. That's odd.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And the business manager, did you set it up or did someone else add you to it?
Someone else added me to it.
And it says, and you definitely have that level of admin access and it's toggled to the right, yeah?
Yeah.
For the ad account and the page, you click on page as well. Can you see the page there?
Sorry, so difficult doing on computer, isn't it? Because yours are over to the left though, aren't they? And you can move yours around. Yeah. Whereas I can't change anything. So I guess it's a permissions issue, isn't it?
It sounds like a permissions issue, but it's weird that if it's toggled to the right, then you should have that admin access. So where did you get the error message? Sorry.
When I tried to do ad account. But don't worry. I'll try and figure it out so you can.
Okay, cool. So when you tried to click on ads manager, you couldn't see you can't see anything in here.
No.
Huh, that's weird. Yeah, I would talk to whoever owns the business manager and like play around. It's probably one of the hardest things about Facebook, I think, is getting all of this stuff straight. Once you've got your access and your permissions all sorted, then building the ads is actually pretty straightforward. If we get time at the end, we can jump on a screen share and I can see what I can do.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Anyone else?
Yes, sorry, just a quick one. I've just come on Facebook, business Facebook, and I'm looking just for the very first thing you said about setting up a business manager.
Yeah.
What should I be clicking on here? Not create a page, presumably.
So did you do business.face? Hold on, is it business?
I'm on facebook.com/business/help. So I'm on Facebook for businesses.
I would go to business.facebook.com/create.
Annoyingly, Virgin wouldn't let me do it. It's saying DNR something or other. Let me see. Not DNR, business.
Or you could just try Googling how to create Business Manager and just see where you get to from there. But essentially what you're wanting to get to is this screen here.
Well, let me go back and look at what you're looking at. Okay, I can't see what you're looking at the minute because I've come out to do something else. Okay, I'll figure it out.
Okay, sure. I can, but you have tried that. So that link, Virgin didn't let you onto that link. That's really...
No. Yeah. No, it didn't.
It might be to do with your Virgin permissions, like your internet permissions.
Right. Okay, I'll have a look at that.
Potentially.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes like companies have, or you know, like kids permissions and stuff. Sometimes you could have ticked a box that might be like something to do with that. So
I'll
could be in that end.
Thank you. I'll take a look at that.
Potentially, because I get that Virgin thing. No, I get a Vodafone thing sometimes when I'm trying to remember. I've had that before.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like blocks me from going on certain sites because maybe at some point I put a parental lock or something.
Right. Okay then.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I will fix it. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Right. Anyone else on the Business Manager, Ads Manager side?
Hi, Jessie.
Hi.
Hi, this is Vishal from Dragon Drink. So I think I've managed to set up the pixel correctly. I ran a test ad last week ahead of this course just to see what would happen. So I think I've done it correctly. I've got a bunch of events. I'm just looking in the events manager now in data sources. So I've got general event, page view, view content, add to cart, and initiate checkout. Is there anything else missing or is that everything?
Purchase.
Nobody purchased anything, unfortunately, but I can't.
So that's fine then. So the one thing you probably want to do, what we always do in the agency when we first take on a client is once we're kind of just about to launch our ads, we will run a purchase and either we'll just buy ourselves something nice from their site or we'll just get them to void it out afterwards. But it needs to be not like a purchase with a zero, with a voucher code that makes the transaction zero, like a real purchase that goes to a real credit card. And then what in your Pixel helper to see that purchase is fired, and then come over to the manager and see if it's there and showing. And then if it is, then you're good to go and launch your ads.
Okay, got it. So that's the one missing step, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And just for peace of mind, you just want to know that everything is tracking before you launch because it's very important to have the tracking right. Cool.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Anyone else on, and please don't hold back because, tracking and setting up the account is key. No, cool. Okay, we will move along. So assuming then you've got your ads manager set up, you've got your pixel on your site and you've checked it on the Chrome Pixel helper and you're happy that everything's flowing through nicely. Now we're going to, let me just remind myself what the next step is from the agenda. So check it's working. Okay, now we're going to be able to go in and set up audiences. So before you kind of go into Ads Manager and start setting things up, what we want to do is have a think about the actual structure of our campaign. Now I can share, anyone who wants access to any of the docs I'm sharing today, I can email them over to you. So you just need to email me. My email address will be shared. So this is a document we use. It looks a little bit overwhelming at first, but it's just a really good visual way to map out how your campaign is going to be structured. Now, the thing to bear in mind with any kind of online traffic is that it's different from a physical shop. People will walk into a physical shop, see a product they like and just buy it straight away. That's kind of like what we've grown up with and what we think about when we think about people buying things. Online, that doesn't really happen. Most people go into an online shop, look around and then leave. Think about it for a while. And if they're still thinking about it a little bit further down the track, then they might consider going and buying. that behavior of going and visiting stuff and not buying is even more pronounced with independent and new or unknown brands. Okay, so you're more likely, if you see something you like on a familiar website like Topshop or ASOS or you know, Sainsbury's or whatever, then that conversion rate is going to be higher because it's a familiar, trusted brand and you're not on some part of the internet that you've never been before. So you're going to have to work a lot harder to get people to buy from you because they haven't heard of you. And you're going to be going out with your ads to people who haven't heard of you because you want to reach new people, right? So I think, you know, the average conversion rates for new and independent businesses are probably in the 1% to 2% range. If your product's a little cheaper, you'd probably have a higher conversion rate, maybe 3, 4, if you're lucky, 5% of people coming to your site are going to purchase. So the other 95 or 98% of people, they're going to need to be reminded and they're going to need to be retargeted in order to purchase. And that retargeting process, I strongly believe, is part of the credibility building and like persuasion process that needs to happen for your brand to kind of be perceived as trustworthy by the potential person. So that's why when we set up our ads on Facebook and Instagram, when I say Facebook, I mean Facebook and Instagram. We'll talk about that when we set up the ads, how we can set them to run on both. Facebook for me is just shorthand for the Facebook ad platform. So what I'm going to show you is how we set up ads to target the different parts of what we call the marketing funnel, and make sure you're hitting people both who haven't heard of you and who have recently been on your site or have interacted with you in some other way. And that's the powerful thing about this platform, is that ability to retarget people based on their behavior. So essentially what we're going to be doing is putting the majority of your budget towards what we call prospecting or cold audiences, people who have never been on your site, are not on your email list, don't follow you on social media, and they're the important people that you want to get in front of. We're going to put 80% of the budget towards them, but we're still going to allocate 20% of the budget towards people that have, sorry, my son's just running, 20% of the budget towards people that have heard of you, have interacted with you in some way, are on your email list, have just recently visited your site, but you're going to target them with different messages because they're more familiar with you. So they might just need a little bit more persuasion, or they might want to know a little bit more about the story behind the brand rather than being told exactly what it is you're all about. So those lower funnel audiences, those retargeting audiences, are actually super, super valuable to you and should perform much, much better than the cold prospecting audiences. But we need the cold audiences to create the audience of people that then come back and buy from you. So in terms of shorthand, in the industry, we talk about TOF, which is top of funnel, MOF, which is middle of funnel, and BOF, which is bottom of funnel. So excuse me using that jargon. I'll try not to use it, but just in case I do, I just thought I'd tell you what it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up these audiences so that you can target each part of the funnel specifically. So what I'm going to suggest to you is you have one campaign for your prospecting, and inside that campaign we'll probably have, you know, 1 or 2 interest or lookalike based audiences, and I'll talk about what those are in a second. And then middle of funnel, you'll probably have a middle of funnel ad set, which is targeting your social engagers, your email list, your past buyers, people who've been on your site a long time ago but haven't been back recently. And then bottom of funnel, we would target your maybe 0 to 30 day visitors, or if you have a cheaper product that's a bit of an easy decision to buy, you might only target like people for 15 days, because if they're not going to buy a £10 bottle of wine after the first 15 days, they're probably not going to buy it, so there's no point following them around with ads. So in order to like set up the structure for you guys, which I'm going to run through and show you exactly how we set it all up, the first thing we're going to do is set up all of these audiences for you within your audience manager, so they're all ready to go. And then when we build the ads, the audiences will be all set up and ready. So any questions on that? Nope. Okay, cool. I'll show you. It'll all become a little bit clearer once we jump into Ads Manager, hopefully. Okay. So I'm going to go into a friend of mine's ad account who has kindly agreed to let me set up a full fake campaign on his account. Well, he's actually really happy about it because he's getting a free campaign set up. But anyway, so this is his ad account here. So he's already got a couple of things running here, but we're going to set up a whole fresh one for him. So the first thing you want to do is you're in Ads Manager here. You want to click onto this one here, which is Audiences. It's a bit slow, sorry. All right, so you want to just make sure you're in the right ad account. In this case, it's given me a different one. So here we are in the new junior ad account. He's already set up a few audiences here, but we're just going to ignore that and we're going to set up the ones we need. So the first one we need is, so there's 3 types of audiences you can set up. Ignore special ad audience. That's just something for the US. It's something to do with financial services, won't apply to you guys at all. So there's 3 types of audiences: custom audiences, lookalike audiences, and saved audiences. I'll just quickly give you the definition of each of those. So a custom audience is an audience of people that are known to you in some way. Either they're on your list, they've followed you on social or interacted with you on social. It doesn't mean you know their name or you know who they are, but there's somehow like there's a connection between you and the business, or they've been on your site.
So that would be middle of funnel, would it?
Exactly, yeah. Or it would be or bottom of funnel, like the people who've just recently been on your site, who've 3 days ago they visited and put something in their cart. That's bottom of funnel. So yeah, bottom and middle of funnel, you use custom audiences. And then lookalike audiences, these yeah.
Sorry, Jess, can you just go back one quick step? So once you're in Ads Manager, how do you get where does the audience thing pop up?
So I was in business.
So I'm in the Ads Manager, so I can see a few, like some stuff there.
Yeah, so you want to go up to the left where the menu is, and sometimes everyone, like there is different interfaces, so yours might look slightly different to mine. I think I've got the most recent one, but it's a bit crazy. So you're in Business Manager, and then you click here, and you click on Audiences. This one here.
I only seem to have. Oh, hold on, let's go back one step.
Yeah, I don't seem to have audiences either.
Yeah, I can't see it.
If you scroll down on the left, I found mine under there. I didn't have that button either.
Yeah, I had to scroll down as well and found it there.
You found it? Apologies on behalf of Facebook for the fact that they just give different people different views. It's really annoying. Makes training quite annoying. So
is it under campaigns or?
No, it's not under campaigns. It should be under, it should be wherever your menu is. If you can find your menu, then it should be under there. An option would be audiences. Do you want to share your screen? And I can try and, although I don't know if I can see when people share screens.
Mine appears under I don't know if this is the same place as yours, but you see there's the 9 little dots in the top left-hand corner.
Yeah.
That's where mine appears. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else had mine, but my dots are in a different place. Mine are like slightly to the right of the title, if anyone else's are there.
Who's still stuck? Anyone?
Me, yeah.
And me.
And me as well. I don't have that option either, the audience.
And you have the ad account set up though?
Yes, we have the account set up and I'm in Business Manager, so I can't see audience.
So for me, it isn't in the large icons at the top under shortcuts, but if you scroll down, when you click on Ads Manager, you see the larger icons, and then you scroll down and there's a section called Advertise, and within that there's an audiences icon.
You can see that one there.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, I just need to keep scrolling down. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I found that. Thank you for that.
Everyone good now?
No, I can't find mine. It's really bizarre.
can't-
I mean, and my screen is very similar to yours, and I'm in shortcuts as well. But I can't see audience.
And do you think you have the right level of admin access?
I don't know.
Did you set it up or did someone else set it up?
No, we set it up a while ago with my husband.
Okay.
So
I'm a bit stumped. I mean, Tara, do you know if they can do screen share and I'd be able to see it?
I'd have to make them a panelist, which I can do. But I think, I mean, I just wanted to kind of double check everyone's kind of got their ad account set up, because like I just had to go and I don't have my ad account set up, obviously, so I didn't see anything. So maybe something worth checking. But yeah, who would like to screen share, and I can just pop them in.
Yeah.
I'm running it on my. Well, I've got the. I can't speak. I've got this webinar on an iPad. And I've got the laptop for the other thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, I can't even scroll down where it says manage business in the other like sort of list. I've got like half a dozen.
Should we maybe return to this?
Yeah, we can return to this. I think it might be that you guys don't have an ad account in your business manager. So, but we can figure it out at the end. But you know, you'll be able to watch this recording once you do gain access, and then you can see how to set up the audiences. So yeah, let's move along.
Sure.
Okay, so, whoops, what's happened? What did I just click? Audiences. Yeah, I think it's just reloading it. Okay, so if you guys don't have any audiences set up, this is the view that you'll probably see. So you have, so as I said, custom audiences are the people that are somehow known to you. So your warm and hot kind of audiences, your bottom and middle of funnel. And then lookalike audiences, these are Facebook's kind of secret sauce, amazing targeting system. So basically a lookalike audience is still people that are unknown to you, what we'd call cold audiences. They're people that haven't interacted with your business necessarily, but that they closely resemble your customers or closely resemble information you share with Facebook. So you could upload, for instance, a list of all your past buyers, and Facebook will crunch all the data in the background and find you another list of people that's not going to share the list with you, but it will have a group of people that you can target with your ads that closely resemble the people that are on that list. So it's a way to reach new people that look like your current customers. And then a saved audience is just it's like a tag, you know, when you put together your targeting, the age, the location, the interests, and saved that audience, it's a saved audience. So it's kind of straightforward. So what we're going to do is just go into my friend's account and get this all set up for him. So what I'm going to quickly do, the audiences we need are, the standard audience we would need are, so sorry, I did that really quick. Create audience and then custom audience. So we're going to set up our set of custom audiences that we're going to need for the campaigns. How are we going for time? We're okay. So we click on website. So this is using the website traffic as the source for creating this custom audience. So first of all, I'm going to create an audience that's all website visitors in the last 30 days. Now, it's really important to name this clearly. So all website visitors last 30 days. This is a dynamic audience. So anytime that Facebook uses this audience, it's looking at the last 30 days from the day that it's targeting. So it's not going to take, you know, just May's traffic. It's going to continually dynamically populate. So that's one audience that we need to create. Then I would create, the next one I would create would be another website audience, but this time 180 days. That's the furthest back you can go. So this is 6 months worth of traffic on your site. 180, oh, sorry, I'm going to do it the same way. All website visitors, 180 days. And then I'm going to create, a custom audience of people who've purchased. So it's also website visitors, but this time I'm going to select purchase here. And I'm just going to do purchased in the last 7 days. Because for you guys, for food, you probably want to, you'd be happy to hit people again 7 days after they've bought, maybe. But you don't want to show them an ad directly the day after they've bought, and especially if you're running a sale or something that can piss people off. So purchase in the last 7 days. And then what else do we want to create? We want to create, okay, so we're going to create a lookalike audience this time. And now, so a lookalike audience, just to recap, is someone who is an audience of people who aren't your current customers, but look very similar to them and resemble them closely, because we know those are the most likely people to buy, the people who are similar to your existing customers. Now, if your site's quite new and you don't have a lot of purchases, one of you on here we were just talking to hasn't had a sale in the last few weeks. So if you haven't even had traffic at all, and you haven't got an email list and you've got no kind of past data to go on, then lookalikes won't be an option for you at this stage. But there's something to like shelve in the back of your mind for maybe 30, 60 days after you've started running ads and there is traffic going through your site and people are buying. You could then go back and create some lookalike audiences based on that new data that's now in your site. And then Facebook will start to find you more similar people to those. So in this case of my friend, he's had his site running for quite a while. He's had lots of purchases through his site. So we're going to use the actual purchase, the people who purchased to create the lookalike. So I'm going to go other sources, and he's got, I'm going to look.
I just have a quick question about lookalike audiences.
Yeah.
I created one the other day from our email list, data from, wait, that is a lookalike one, isn't it? Yeah. And I put in all of our contacts from our MailChimp list, which is like 1,800 people.
Yeah.
But the audience was so small.
Right.
Because it was just creating a lookalike from that I couldn't create any ads. Can you add more than one?
So how many people were on the list, did you say?
I think 1,800.
So that's a decent seed, what we call, so there's the list itself is 1,800, and that list is being used as a seed for Facebook to create a lookalike from, and 1,800 is a good size seed. That's fine. So a lookalike audience only needs 100 people to be created. Okay. And then it will populate. But did you try and do something with it straight after you created it? Because it sometimes takes a few hours. Yeah.
And I have a feeling that I've just looked now on all my audiences and it says just in distillery newsletter and it says active. So it must have, maybe it took some time to digest.
Yeah. So the audiences will take, sometimes a few hours to populate because the Facebook's like going away and crunching like thousands and thousands of bits of data.
Okay, thanks.
So I've just, while you were talking just then, I just created a 90-day purchase audience just because I want to use this as my seed for the lookalike. So I'm going to create a lookalike audience and I'm going to use his 90-day purchase. So that's the source of my lookalike. That's the seed, if you will, that I'm going to use, going to allow Facebook to use to create my lookalike. And then his location that he wants to do, I think, is USA. United States. And now this is where people have a lot of questions. So what level of lookalike do you want? So as you can see, let's just do, I'm going to do the UK just to show you guys. So the way lookalikes work, excuse me, I've got terrible hay fever, is what a lookalike is it's the percentage of, so for a 1% lookalike is the 1% of the UK population that most closely resemble your seed. So taking the people who bought from his site in the last 90 days, this is taking the 1% of the total UK Facebook population who most closely resemble his purchase group. Now, this number is always the same for no matter like who's creating this or what seed you use. This lookalike will always be roughly 450K because there's a fixed or a semi-fixed number of people on Facebook. and you're getting the 1% of those people that most closely resemble your audience. So 454,000 is 1% of the Facebook audience in the UK. And it's the 1%, the people that are going to fall into that list are the 1% of the UK population that most closely resemble whatever your seed is. Now, the resembling part will be better quality if your seed is better quality. So at 1,800 people on your email list, I would consider that quite a good quality seed. There's obviously much, you know, if you had 100,000 people, that would be even better. So the more people on your list, the better information Facebook has to build a lookalike. And then the lookalikes go up. So a 2% lookalike is going to be 900,000 people. So that's the 2% of the population who most closely resemble these guys on the seed list. So for him, I'm going to create a 1% lookalike, and I'm going to do his in the US because that's where he is going to be targeting his ads. So I'm going to do a 1%. And I'm actually going to do a 2% as well here.
Why would you do a 2% instead of a 1%, or a 1% instead of a 2%?
So a 1% audience is really, really like, it's your best possible people.
Right.
But it's a smaller group. So it's only 400,000 people. So the way Facebook works is so that 400,000 people, Facebook, when you launch your ads, Facebook will show your ads to the best people within that group who it thinks are most likely to carry out the action that you've asked for, i.e. purchase. And as it moves its way through those audiences, you'll usually notice when you first launch your ads, you'll get a little flurry of sales and then they might tail off. And if the audience is really good, they'll just continue. But what we do see with a 1% audience, which is fairly small, it just doesn't last very long. Whereas a 2% has more legs to it, it will go for longer, especially depending on your budget. Like if you're spending a huge amount, then a 1% audience might only last a week or two. Whereas if you're only spending, 10 or 20 pounds a day, then a 1% audience might be all you need for months and months and months. It's just a case of how much volume do you need in your audience in order to keep running ads. If it's too narrow, you're going to run out of steam. So for him, I'm just going to give him both so that they're both set up there. So I'm going to give him the 2%. Here we go. And so he's got those ready to go. So he's got a couple of lookalikes. He's got his all website visitors, the last 7 days, the 90-day purchase. Now, the other custom audiences that are really good to set up are your social engagers. So in this case, so you select the same custom audience again. And this time you're going to select your Instagram profile. And it's just ticking along, but it's going to you'll choose your page that you want to, here we go. So you then select your page. Here we go, here's his page. So I'm going to, I can't remember which one I did just then. I did Instagram, didn't I? Yeah, Instagram. Okay, so I'm going to choose the Instagram page here. Junior. And for this one, I'm going to put everyone who's engaged with his business in the last 365 days on his page. So 365 days, Instagram engages. Now, as you guys all know, Facebook really made it hard to reach our own audiences. So with your organic posts on Instagram and your organic posts on Facebook, not all of them reach your hard-won audiences. And guess what? This is how you can pay to reach them. So I know it feels sometimes frustrating to have built up these audiences only to have to pay to reach them, but it's the name of the game. And the point is, when you do pay to reach these audiences, they'll be so much warmer and more engaged that getting them to take action will be a lot easier. And they'll often comment more on your ads. They might tag friends in. So it is really worth proactively running ads to your engaged audiences. Because after all, what would be the point in having them if you couldn't talk to them? So we always run ads in the agency. We always run ads to social engagers. So that's the one for Instagram, and I'm going to create one.
Sorry, Jessie,
what was that?
Sorry, Jessie, was that a custom audience as well for Instagram, or
yeah, that was custom. Yeah,
okay.
Let me show you again. I click create audience, click custom audience, and I chose Instagram, and I'm now going to choose Facebook. and do the same thing. So I'm going to do 365. And if you've got a situation where maybe your brand's been, you've been in supermarkets, or you've been in markets and things, and you've gotten some really good awareness of your social channels, but you haven't had many site visitors or people buying on your site, and you're now sort of pivoting more towards the online, then actually having a lookalike of your social engagers might be a stronger seed to use than your website visitors or your buyers. So you can also, if you click on this custom audience that you've created, you can also click here and create a lookalike of this audience. So if you, it's about, for your lookalikes, it's about choosing who are the most, where's the most high quality audience that I have access to, and how can I then, and that's the one you should choose to create a lookalike from. So I'm going to create a 1% lookalike in the United States of his Facebook engagers, like that. So that's not the Facebook engagers themselves, that's the people that most resemble them in the US population. So his brand is very much a kid's brand. It's like, sorry, it's sort of a mum and baby brand. It's earmuffs for kids to protect their ears from noise. So if people who, he's in Australia now and moving to the States, if people in the Australia who like his page are probably sort of middle-class mums, and therefore Facebook will be able to kind of take that seed of people and then find the people that most resemble them in the US, that shop from the same brands, exhibit similar behavior, and it will be a pretty good kind of like for like comparison there. So I'll do one more. I'll do one for his Instagram, which will be, oops, no, sorry. So I click on this and I click on here, create lookalike, and same thing here, United States. So that's now created all the custom audiences I think that I should need, both my sort of long range website visitors, the most recent. Oh, one more that you can create that might be useful is people who've added to cart or viewed content. Let's do added to cart. So you click on website again, and then this time we click on add to cart, and let's say add to cart in the last, 30 days. So this is a list of people who actually went to the site and actually clicked add to cart and put a product in the cart. So that's a good one to have set up and ready to go. So any questions on the custom audiences?
Yeah, can I ask, just we were talking about email lists.
Oh, yeah.
They would be really good. How would you target your email list?
Great question. Thank you for asking that. I forgot about that. So custom audience, the same. So custom audience is just all of these people who are related. And this is where you would click on customer list. And then you just click next. And I would just select no, unless you have that, like the data about what money they've spent in the list. So you just click no. And then you need to accept the terms. And, this is at your, you need to get your own legal advice about whether you have the permission from these people for this. The data's not, you're not sharing any personal data about the people. All you're saying to Facebook is like, these are people that I want to show ads to. You're not telling Facebook like, what they bought for Christmas or any of that. And the data is like what's called hashed, but I don't have a legal opinion on whether that's how to share that. So all I would say is most of my clients are happy to do this. So so then you just click upload file, and it just needs to be an Excel or CSV file that has an email address and it doesn't even need to have name. But the more data you put in, the more chance that Facebook can match it, because if, for instance, you've only got their work email addresses, but you do have their phone numbers, then leave the phone number column in there, because Facebook has phone number data that it can use to match. Let me see if I can find a.
This, I just downloaded my one from MailChimp, and I think you can just download any email list from.
Exactly, yeah. So I've just uploaded one from my Klaviyo, which is another similar to MailChimp platform. And I'll just call this Jessie test, don't use. And then click next. And then here, yeah, so I've only got email address. So it's just asking me, is this column email addresses? Yes. If I also had names and phone numbers, it would just be asking me to map them together, and like it's gone green, so it looks fine. So then it's just upload and create. So there you go. And then you could, if you wanted to at that stage, create a lookalike from that list as well. I'm just going to delete that one because just for data reasons. Right, so those should be all the custom audiences. Any other questions on custom audiences? No? Okay. So now we want to create some saved audiences. Now, saved audiences have a really boring, like not very descriptive name, but really they are what we call interest-based audiences. So they're audiences which include things like the brands people like, the places they shop, their interests, what they do at the weekend, their demographics, that kind of thing. So what you want to do here is create audience, and then we want to go saved audience. So in the case of my friend who we're doing this for, he has a baby, it's a baby product. So in this case, we would create baby related audiences. Guys, what you want to be thinking about is, so if you're selling, say you're selling gin or you're selling, I don't know, chocolate, the most obvious audience to go after is people that like gin or chocolate. But the other way to think about it is to think more about the lifestyle attributes of your typical target customer, and like almost create a profile of that person, and then think of what other things they might like that are similar but not necessarily exactly the same to what you offer. So for instance, if someone, so I've got a client that has a luxury knitwear brand. So you could just put knitwear in as the interest, but just, do people really have an interest in knitwear? I don't know if they necessarily do, unless they're kind of, you know, a knitting enthusiast. Whereas what actually is the case is it's a high ticket product. It's £180. So you think about the profile of the kind of person who spends that much on a jumper, and you think, okay, what other brands do they like? What are other shopping habits do they have? And in the case of that knitwear brand, it turned out the most successful audience for us was people who liked John Lewis. So there was that match between the type of John Lewis customer is the type of person who buys better quality stuff, and therefore that audience worked really well for us. So does that make sense? So if we were, I mean, doing it for this one, I'm trying to think. So, you know, it might be just baby products generally would be good for this audience. So it might be, so here we can put in, so age-wise, you want to think about who's your tip, what's the most realistic age range for your product. So if it's a bit more expensive, you might want to go over 25. If it's female only, you might want to exclude a certain gender. So for this one, we would put probably women, and they would probably be over 25. And then we're going to put some targeting in. It might be like baby bottle. And then the cool thing is, once you type an interest in, you can then click suggestions, and it just gives you a whole lot of stuff that's related to, you know, to baby stuff.
Quick
And
thing on this,
yeah.
What we found is a bit tricky is that they only seem to, like, when you're trying to target brands that are quite similar to you, they've only got really big brands, or it seems like we're a craft like whiskey company, so it's very hard to find other craft gin companies because they're not listed. Is there any way you can get around that in terms of trying to target small brands, or not really? People who like small brands, sorry.
It's really tricky. Yeah. So you have to have, the brand has to have like something like 1 million followers on Facebook for it to like come up, which is annoying. So I guess it would be more about thinking of like, what are some other like things that person who likes, you know, who's maybe a bit of a foodie, they maybe like, they probably like their wine as well. They might, you know, shop in kind of Waitrose, they might like farmers, you know, I don't know, I'm just
okay,
trying to think of those kind of attributes. Now the other thing to think about here is what you don't want to do. So this is a really key point that I think a lot of people miss. So what I've done here is these are all kind of really similar: baby bottle, baby shower, breast pump, breastfeeding, nappy, Pampers. They're all broadly, you know, they're going to be a lot of overlap. It's sort of all broadly the same theme. So that's what you want to do. You want to theme your audience around a certain theme. So if you were trying to figure out how to reach that whiskey drinker, there's probably a few hypotheses that come to your mind. So one might be, okay, I'm going to go after the kind of high-end food consumer. So that's one theme, would be maybe Waitrose and Ocado, for instance, might be one theme. So you're testing, the question you're wanting to answer is, do people who like Waitrose and Ocado buy my gin? So that would be all you would put in as the interests in here. So don't put Waitrose, Ocado, you know, rock and roll music, Americana, and you know, Harley Davidson motorbikes all in together, because what Facebook's going to do is it's going to find people who either like Harley Davidson motorcycles or Waitrose or Ocado or rock and roll music, and you won't know which part of that audience is working for you. So where do you go when that audience stops working, or if it doesn't work, you don't know why either. So if you're wanting to try and figure out how to reach your whiskey consumer, then you would create one audience for Harley Davidson motorcycles. And it's really random, I know, but I just kind of had that correlation in my head. And then another audience for like rock and roll music, and then another audience for Waitrose and Ocado, and then you run the same ad, same budget to all of those at the same time, and see which one gets you the best response.
Okay, great. And how much time and budget would you say to put into one to see what makes a difference? Because we ran some A/B testing the other day, and to start with, it was very obvious which was different. But then by the end, actually, they pulled up pretty much similar results. So like, I think we were only spending £5 a day on each ad for 4 days. So like, was that enough money to tell the difference, or do you have to put more budget in?
So I would probably say a bit more budget. What's your conversion rate?
Actually, this was a leads ad, getting people's email addresses to do like a sampling thing, and it was actually like way higher than Facebook predicted. So that's not really a very good one to judge it on, because we were giving them the opportunity to give them free whiskey. So like, obviously people will sign up because people like free things. So it was a competition, so it's quite hard to judge, but that's the only ad we've done. So
okay, so you don't know generally, is your site quite new? You don't know your
no, our conversion rate's really low then. Sorry, on the site, I'm not sure on the analytics, but it's pretty low. Like, we have like one order a day.
Okay.
And we get quite a lot of visits.
Okay, so given that you've got a low conversion rate, like let's say it's 1%, imagine like if you're wanting to judge which audience actually purchases the product at the highest rate, then you need to run the ad for the ad set for long enough that an actual purchase could conceivably occur, right? So if the average is 100 clicks to have one sale, 1%, then you need to run each ad set for at least 100 clicks. And depending on what your cost per click is, let's say it's 50p, then you would need, for 100 clicks, you would need to spend 50 quid per audience.
Gotcha.
Get an answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Without changing anything else. But I would strongly advise against using the A/B split testing functionality. I would just use, someone needs to mute. It's hold on, let me see. Everyone looks like they're muted. Huh. Or is this person? Anyway, sounds like they've muted now. So I would not use the split testing. I would just set up the audiences in a campaign with the same budget and the same ads in each, and run them for that amount of time, and then switch off the one that's less performing and keep the one that's best performing. Because if you run a split test, there's a few reasons against it. So at the end of the test, everything stops, right? Whereas if you run a normal campaign, if it works really well, you can just keep running it, because turning stuff off and restarting it and resetting it will reset the learning. All of the kind of learning that's happened in that ad set that the algorithms figured out has to happen again. So if you just run them alongside each other, you can you'll benefit from being able to keep the ones that are working going. And also, if any of them are like just real duds, like no one's clicking, the cost per click's really high, you can switch them off earlier. Whereas with an A/B test that's being run by Facebook, Facebook's just going to keep running it for the entire time, even if one of them's a total dud, and then it's all going to stop when the test ends. So
do you mean run it as a totally separate ad set, or just a separate ad within the set?
So if we're still talking about audience testing, then you would need to have it, the ad set is the audience. Ad set and audience are kind of the same thing. So if you were testing Harley Davidson lovers against Ocado people, then you would have the Harley Davidson ad set as one ad set, and the Ocado people as the other ad set. And you would have the same two or three ads in each ad set. And then you would run those alongside each other, watching the data, and then decide at the end of about a week. Usually you need a week, because there's most brands have a day of the week or time of the week that works better for them. So you need to run it through a Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday, right through to Sunday, to make sure it gets that full benefit. Plus the algorithm takes that long to learn. So yeah, I can show you what it looks like in the account. So imagine now we've set up, well, okay, I'll show you one more thing with audiences. So we've got, if we're creating another saved audience, so we had, in your example, we've got the Harley Davidson and the Ocado. So we've got to set up another one. So let's say, I just wanted to show you guys this other thing, which is if we had, so for example, I've got a few clients that are in the sustainability space, but not necessarily, they don't necessarily want to target like full-on eco warriors only. They want to target eco warriors who have, no, not eco warriors, people who have a sensibility towards eco products, but also who have the purchasing power to buy something a little more expensive. So in that case, what we do is use the narrowing function. So we might put here John Lewis on one side, and then we don't just want John Lewis people, we want to narrow them by, and see how that showed up. So what this is going to do, if we use the narrow by, it's going to only show the ad to the people who have both interests in common. So we might put sustainability, and then I'm going to get a few more suggestions: environmentalism, sustainable living, a bunch of stuff. So what this audience is telling me is that this person, to fit into this audience list, the person must have an interest in John Lewis, and they must also have either sustainable living, zero waste, environmentalism, or sustainability as their interests. And that in Australia is 2,300 people, and that's because John Lewis doesn't exist over there. So if we were to do that for the UK, it would probably be a lot higher. Yeah, that would be 800,000 people. So of the total audience of John Lewis people, 800,000 of them also are interested in sustainable living, zero waste.
I've just got a quick question about this, if that's okay. So that's really useful. I just, so I was trying to kind of follow along with what you were doing, and I got the audience name, and then what would the custom audience be then?
You got the what, sorry?
The custom audience. So this is a saved audience, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what would you put as the custom audience?
What would I put as the custom audience? So a custom audience is someone that's like known to you already. So it's your website visitors, your email list, that kind of thing. But what do
So you choose one of your previous, like you could choose your customer list, like your newsletter list or something like that.
Custom audiences, yeah. So a custom audience can either be your recent website visitors, your past buyers, your email list, your social engagers.
What I'm just trying to get my head around, I think, is just all the different combinations. So let's say you wanted to do what you've just done, like the John Lewis and the sustainability thing, for an example.
Yeah.
You'd need to create a different saved audience for all those different custom audiences.
Which custom audiences?
Like if all the ones that you have, existing ones you have set up, or lookalike ones you have set up, you need to create, everyone is a different ad, if that makes sense. Like it's a different audience.
No, so what we're going to do, so let's imagine we've created that. So we're just getting all the audiences ready to go, but let's go back to this structure. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that we're going to separate them out. So your top of funnel campaign, where 80% of your budget is going to go, we'll probably have 2 or 3 audiences, and you'll use a mixture of saved audiences, which is these interest-based ones we've just built, and lookalike audiences, which are audiences that closely resemble your customers but aren't people that are known to you. So they're still cold top of funnel audiences. So in that campaign, you'll put about 80% of the budget, and you'll have maybe 2 or 3 ad sets. And in each of those ad sets, you'll have 2 or 3 ads. And then you'll have a middle of funnel audience, which is explicitly targeting, you'll select these custom audiences that we've built. So it'll be your things like this, email subscribers, social engagers, and you'll have an ad set for them with several ads in each of those. And then bottom of funnel, you have your most recent site visitors, and you'll have ads for them. And each of those groups of people will have slightly different messages that you're sending them. So you'll probably need 3 ads for your cold audiences. Those are these ads that are introducing everything that you're about. And you'll probably need, I would advise having sort of 3 to 5 ads for your bottom of funnel and middle of funnel audiences. And those are ads that are more assuming someone knows a bit about you, and you're just now persuading them to get over the line. Does that make sense? When we go into build it, it might become a little bit clearer.
Yeah, it's just feeling very complicated.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It is a complicated old system.
Whole new world.
Yeah, I'll show you a quick diagram that might sort of help. I think this is, if it's any consolation, this is probably one of the hardest things to get your head around, like the different layers. But I'll just show you, I've got a diagram. Let me just quickly find it. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. I just don't want to hold everyone up.
Don't worry, so you can send it later or afterwards if that's easier.
Yeah, if you email me afterwards, I can send it. But when we go into build, it'll all make sense. So what I'm trying to go through here is like getting all of the prep work done, so the audiences are ready. And then when we go into set up the campaigns, it might become a little bit clearer for you. Okay, so we've done the prep work, we've created the audiences. Now we're ready to go in and create ads. So I'm going to go back to home. While that loads, I'll see if I can. And then I'm going to go to Ads Manager. So how are we going for time? I think we've got 1 more hour. Does anyone else have questions on the audiences before we jump into creating the ads?
No, it was just really to clarify, Jessie. So really for the cold audience at the top of the funnel, we're going to use the saved audiences feature. And for the MOF and the bottom, we'll use the custom audiences.
That's right, exactly. So for top of funnel, you'll use saved audiences and lookalike audiences.
Great, perfect.
Because lookalike audiences, again, they are still unknown to your business, but they just have a very close similarity to your existing customers. Okay, let me just see if this is here. Yeah. think this is it. Yeah, so you have a top of funnel campaign with 3 ad sets, and an ad set is an audience, and then you have a middle of funnel campaign with 1 ad set and a bottom of funnel campaign with 1 ad set. And then each ad set can have as many ads as you want, but I'm going to suggest you have probably 3, and it would be the same 3 ads for each ad set here, and then a different set of ads for middle of funnel and a different set of ads for bottom of funnel. Or if you wanted to, you could use the same ads in the mid funnel. Does that sort of make sense a little bit more or not really? Guess not.
Oh yeah, it does.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, okay, let me just, hold on, I was just gonna screen grab that for you. If anyone wants it, please do email me and I can share this. But hopefully it will come a bit clearer now we're in here. So the first thing we're going to do is click create. So we're going to create our first campaign. We're going to create the top of funnel campaign using those saved audiences and lookalike audiences that we created. So here we're going to be asked to choose our objective. Now it's really important with Facebook ads that you choose the right objective, because Facebook will try and get you your objective. Sounds simple, but if you tell it your objective is really different from what you really want, then it's not going to get you what you really want. So ultimately you want people to buy from you, but that might not be the case for every campaign you set up. So someone was talking earlier about running a competition. So sometimes your goal might be to get people to sign up for a competition, or sometimes your goal might be to get people to sign up for your email list. But in this case, I'm going to assume you guys are all gunning for people to actually buy from you. So we're going to set up a campaign optimized for purchase. So I think the tendency is a lot of people sometimes click traffic because they're like, well, I want traffic. But if you tell Facebook you want traffic and you give Facebook a budget and you say, find me as much traffic as you can for my money, then it's going to find you cheap traffic. And cheap traffic isn't always good traffic. Whereas if you tell Facebook, I want purchases, then Facebook's going to take your money and spend it as efficiently as it can to drive you the most purchases it can for your money, which in some cases might mean more expensive traffic, but better quality traffic. So you're going to select conversions, and in the next couple of screens, you're going to tell Facebook what you mean by a conversion, but conversion is like a digital marketing term to mean like an event or an action that happens. So whereas traffic is just a click, or an app install is an app install happening, a conversion is like, I converted this person into a buyer or into a customer. So we're going to select conversion, and we're going to name this campaign TOF Jessie. We're going to toggle off the A/B test, and we're going to toggle off the campaign budget optimization. Campaign budget optimization is a useful tool later on when your campaign and ad account are more mature. For now, I don't recommend using it because it's just not great for testing. So then you want to click continue. Right, so we've moved down one level. So we were in the campaign, we've set up the campaign, which is going to be this top of funnel campaign. We've set that up, and now we're in the ad set level, which on, whoops, this diagram, we're in this level now. So we've set the campaign up, and now we're going to set up the first ad set. And the first ad set we're going to set up, we're going to use lookalike 1% USA. The optimization for ad delivery is conversions, and this one says add to cart. I'm going to change it to purchase. So here we go, purchase. Ignore that, just keep the settings as they are. And then select this conversions from the drop down. So I've named the ad set, I've told it I want to optimize for conversions, and I've told them what is a conversion for me, and in my case it's a purchase, probably the same for you. Leave dynamic creative toggled off, leave offer toggled off, and then we are going to...
Slightly more slowly, sorry, I'm just...
Yeah, sure. So Name the audience, and this is really important that you name the ad set something descriptive. So whichever audience you're going to use for this ad set, name it accordingly. You know, things like location, age, anything else that you're putting into this, make sure you name it, because I can tell you now, if you don't name stuff properly, you'll get into a right old mess very quickly. You can rename them later, but it's better to just name them from the get-go.
Okay.
Really important to use the ad naming. So then destination is website, optimization is conversions, event you want to choose is purchase, and ideally that needs to be green. Now, in the case of some of you who don't yet have a purchase and there's not enough data for this to be green, then you could select one step up the funnel, which is add to cart. So before someone purchases, they add to cart, and there's probably about 4 times as many people adding stuff to cart on your site as purchasing. So if you want to choose add to cart as the goal, then you could use that instead. So you can see for him, he's got 94 events received for add to cart, whereas purchase in the last 30 days, he's only had 41, but I think 41 is enough. It's enough data for Facebook to be able to figure out who's kind of going to buy. And then I don't know why it keeps going, it keeps toggling back to that, but let's choose conversions.
Please, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, sure.
So I think earlier I just mentioned that we maybe send people to a third party distributor, like not on the high street.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you click conversion, it's not going to link up your pixel magically to not on the high street.
Yeah.
So, and you won't be able to get the data for purchase.
No.
So how would that work? And would you still use the conversion objective, or would you use traffic?
No, you'd have to use traffic, because
okay,
unless you have a conversion that Facebook can optimize for, then you can't have a conversion campaign. So yeah, so you would go back to this screen and you would change it to traffic here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Cool. So we're still in the ad set. We've got, let's just check those settings are all fine. Conversions, purchase, yeah. Toggle off dynamic, toggle off offer. And in this case, I'm going to use a saved audience. I'm going to use Baby Products USA. Now, one thing I want to remind you guys, or sorry, I didn't flag this before. I'm just going to edit this audience. And the important thing is this is one of our top of funnel audiences. So it's best practice to exclude your custom audiences from this audience, because you don't want, because Facebook's going to try and go after the most likely people to carry out your goal, purchase. So if you target, for him, we're targeting these baby product lovers, but if we don't tell Facebook to exclude our recent site visitors from this audience, then Facebook's going to go, well, who's most likely to buy? I know, it's going to be the people who've just been on the site. So I'm going to show these ads to them as well. But this audience, you've been setting it up on purpose to try and reach new people, to try and go prospecting. And so in this case, we want to make sure we tell Facebook, I want this to only be new people. So I'm going to exclude my 180-day website visitors. I'm going to exclude my 365-day Facebook engagers and my 365-day Instagram engagers. And if you've got a custom audience of your email list, you want to exclude them here too. Don't worry, you're not going to exclude them from the entire advertising campaign. You're just going to have them targeted by a different campaign. So it's cleaning up. It's kind of making single lanes of this audience is purely ads for people who don't know me, and this audience is purely for ads for people who do know me, and I'm going to treat them differently. I'm going to give them a different budget, and I'm going to run them differently. So that's the standard exclusions I would exclude from my top of funnel audience: 180-day visitors, 365-day Facebook engagers, and 365-day Instagram engagers. And everything else is the same, so I'm just updating that. And there we have it. And then this is where you set the budget. I would always use a daily budget rather than a lifetime budget, because if you have a daily budget, you just go in every day and look at how it's performing. Whereas if you have a lifetime budget, it could be going really, really well and you forget, and then it turns itself off, and then you have to restart it again and it has to reset its learning, and it may not perform as well again. So I very much prefer a daily budget, but there are some instances where you might want to do a lifetime budget. Perhaps you've got a sale on and it ends at midnight on Saturday, and you know you want to run the campaigns only for a specified amount of time, or it's running until Father's Day and then it's turning off, in which case doing a lifetime budget is really sensible and safe and means that you're not going to end up accidentally spending money outside of the time that you were planning to. So I'm going to put this as $10 a day. In terms of budget, you probably want to, well, ideally you want to allow enough budget that some sales are going to happen. Now, Facebook's like published advice is that you should have enough budget for, I think it's 40 conversions per week per ad set. Now, that's crazy. That's a crazy large number. If you're a tiny business or even a decent sized business, to have that many sales going through each ad set is almost impossible. But what we try to say as a rule of thumb, ideally in your budget per day, you want to have enough budget for at least 2 sales to happen in a day. So if your cost per sale is on average maybe $10 per sale, then you probably want to have $20 per day in that ad set to allow a couple of sales to happen each day from the ad set, and that will give give Facebook the data it needs to be able to optimize. So I'm going to leave his we'll leave his at 20. I'm not going to switch this on anyway. So does that all make sense on the ad set level? So we're setting up, again, as a reminder,
I just had a quick question actually, if that's okay. So I'm clear on the excluding people. I just can't remember what you said about the including people.
Okay.
Do we leave that blank or?
So we picked up the saved audience that we created in the audience manager. So here it was this audience that I picked happens to be this Baby Products USA. So they're interested in Pampers, breast pump, baby milk, baby shower, breastfeeding, and nappy.
Okay.
So I created that already, and I just I clicked edit here because I had forgotten at that early stage to exclude these guys from it. So I've named this audience, actually I misnamed it, Baby Products USA. And then you could even put on here just to remind yourself that you remember to do it.
Could you do something like all the website visitors in the last 30 days?
For this top of funnel campaign? No.
Yeah, no, okay.
No, because if you remember, so we're just in this bit here, we're creating the top of funnel. We're creating a campaign to target people who haven't visited you, who don't know you, because you want
to. Okay, yeah.
And when we move through this, we will create another audience specifically for the people who did visit you, and that will be your retargeting audience. So we'll get to that.
Just one more quick question. Where you said earlier about depending on budget, how far your ad campaign will go. How often do we need to be creating new saved lists and stuff like that to be going out and prospecting different targets and testing different audiences?
Yeah, so let's say your budget is, what do you think you might be able to allocate per day? Have you thought about that?
I mean, we are running ads at the moment. I've got a chap doing it. I'm just trying to get up to speed myself. So cool. I think we're running about £50 a day at the moment.
Nice. Okay, so £50 a day is roughly 1.5K a month ad spend. So for that sort of budget, I would say for top of funnel, you've probably got just enough budget for 2, possibly 3 ad sets.
Okay.
The advice from Facebook and from me and from my colleagues is to not have too many ad sets at once in the top of funnel or in general, because they will be splitting your budget too thinly.
Mm-hmm.
You want to try and consolidate to 2, maybe 3 ad sets. And then what you're doing is you're running them until they don't perform, right? So fine. I would go into a client of mine. So let's have a look. I'm trying to think of who's a good example. Say this one here, I would go in here and have a look at on a daily basis. My team or I would go in, we'd look at her ad sets. So here's her campaign, and you can see when it loads, we've got TOF and MOF for her. for this particular client, boff, the retargeting doesn't really work. Her product's really cheap. It's just a waste of money to try and follow people around with ads, nudging them to buy something that they already made a decision not to buy. Retargeting tends to work better for maybe more expensive products or products that you buy frequently and you want to keep reminding people to top up and buy more. But in here, so we've got her she happens to have 4 ad sets, and they have, you know, $14, $15, $27 and $83 per day. So this one is the one that's been working the best. I'm looking at today's budget, today's performance, but if I looked at the last 7 days, I can see that these are the 4 ad sets that are running, and I can see the cost per result. So this one's doing pretty well, $5.71. So I might say, okay, I'm going to add a bit of budget to this one. And this one here is a bit expensive, you know, and this is actually where I'm spending most of the budget. So I might reduce the budget on that one. And then you'll get to a point where like a certain ad set has just run out of steam and not really working. And in that case, you might turn it off and replace it with something new. So that's what, if you've got someone running this, this is the job that he's sort of doing, is like monitoring the performance of each ad set and making sure that, you know, they're all delivering well and that the cost per purchase is good.
And we know that it's run out of steam purely by the fact that the cost per purchase is like really, really high in comparison to everything else, right?
Yeah, if it's starting to become like outside of your target kind of, you know, what you
spend
can get in business. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're like, you know, if your product costs it costs 20 quid and you only make 10 quid off each purchase, and your CPA has gone up to 20 quid, then you're losing money. So you'd want to like reduce that one.
Got you. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so we've created this ad set, and now we're going to go and create an ad.
Sorry, can I just ask about the budget?
Yeah.
So you put £50 in that one. So say I want to spend £50 on Facebook in total per day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put £50 in there. I'd put, I don't know, £20 or something. I'd put £20 in the other ad set and then like £10 in the other one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So it would be, I'll share this with you guys, this sheet, and you can use it to kind of fill out what you're going to spend on each bit.
Yeah.
So in the case of this kind of like hypothetical scenario, we've got a £50 a day budget, which is about $1,500 a month. So we've allocated £30 to the top of funnel and £5 each to the middle of funnel and the bottom of funnel. So there I know, okay, so for each of these ad sets, I'm allowed £10 a day. So then when I set it up, I know what I'm doing there.
Okay, thank you.
Cool, no worries. Okay, so we were in the ad set and now we've moved down to the ad level. Now, a reminder, you can have a lot of ads in the one ad set. So an ad set is what it says. It's a set of ads that are being targeted to that one particular audience. So inside the ad set is actually where you would do your ad testing. One of the common mistakes I see people doing is they want to test like 3 ads. So they'll set up 3 separate ad sets that are targeting the same group of people, and they'll put 1 ad in each and try and see which one does best. That's not the right thing to do. So what you want to do is you want to have one ad, each ad set has several ads, and then Facebook will pick which one is doing best, and that one will get shown more often to people. And ideally, if you're testing different ad sets, you would have the same 3 ads in each one, so that you can test. You're testing like for like, right? You're testing those 3 audiences have the same setup and the same set of ads, and then you're being able to compare them like for like. So, so here we are in the ad set, and let's go back down to the ad level. So this is where you now have the opportunity to create your ad. So you want to make sure you've picked the right page that you're running your ad from. In this case, I don't know where it's not coming out. Yeah, there it is. Check that it's that and that. Okay, so now you have a few different options in terms of ads that you can create. So you've got an option of a single image or a video or a carousel. Do you guys know the difference between these? Shall I talk you through them?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So a carousel ad looks a bit like this. I'll show you. So on Instagram, they come up as kind of like with little swipey things. I think this is Instagram. Yeah. So can you guys see this? No, it's not. So it's the ads that have like a form strip that a person can swipe through the pieces of it. So it's like this. But it's not, that's sort of misleading because it's moving. The carousel is a static ad and the user is able to swipe through. It's not like a, it's not an animated thing. It's not a slideshow. So it's static pieces of content that you're putting alongside each other.
Okay.
So when you're building a carousel ad, you can see here that it's got these different squares that you're filling in, and you're filling in each bit. So let's create a carousel ad first. I love this format. It's easy to create because you're just using static imagery, and it's a way that you can pull out either highlights about your product or pictures from different angles, or a mixture of lifestyle and like studio shots, different benefits, kind of thing. So we are in this first screen. So it's asking me to select an image. So you click on that button, and he's got a bunch of images already in his account, super cute images of babies and things. So I'm going to just select one. Or if you don't have images in your account already, you could click on upload, and then you would just choose it from your computer. So if at this point you've got them saved in a folder somewhere, this is the point at which you would then upload them. So click on continue, and it's loading that image up for me. And then for each one of these images, you have the option to put a little headline. And the headline is really important because it's what it's in bold, the eye will see it. So protect your baby's ears. You know what else to put. Something like this, and then you would put the destination URL. I think it's newjunior.com. Get a check. Yeah. Okay, so so there it's come up like that, and then I'm going to select another one.
Hi Jess, just a very quick one. When you're entering the website URL there, are you putting just the website, or should you put the website shop page?
Right, so you want to put wherever you want to send people. So in the case of this particular product, he's a one product website. So the homepage is probably quite a good place to send people because there's kind of got all the information there. But if, for instance, you want to send people to a particular product page, ideally you want to send them like to the deepest part of your site that's going to get them quickest towards your goal of buying without sending them confused, right? So if you sent them to like the checkout page, that's a little presumptuous and a little too soon. But maybe either, it could be a collection page like this, it could be the home page, or it could be a product page. So there's a bunch of different ways you could decide to send people. And again, it's something you might want to test. Like you might have one ad that sends people to the home page and one ad that sends them to the product page, and see which one performs best. So yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Cool. So so then you can go through and you can create a second image here and another headline, lots of colors or something like this, blah, blah, blah. And then another one here that is, maybe the kind of more like studio type image there. You want to make sure that I'm not going to go there's not enough time today to go deeply into kind of what your creative and messaging strategy is, but I will say it's super, super important. Ads don't work if they're not good ads, if they don't explain the product really clearly. It should be really clear what the product is. So this friend of mine, his main ad was just this square here. And if you look at this, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but you can't actually tell what the product is. So my big feedback to him was like, you need to show babies, and you need to show babies with the product on, because otherwise people in the split second that they're looking at your ad won't realize what it is and who it's for. So just bear that in mind. The product should take up like most of the image, and you need to call out like the benefits, why you're different, why you're special, why you're going to make their life better. And really remember that like this is cold traffic. They don't know who you are. You've spent hours, months, weeks obsessing about your product, but this person does not know you. So you need to tell them who you are, what you're selling, why it's relevant to them, and why they should trust you. And that's a really key thing. So if you have testimonials from customers, you can put them in the, overlay some copy over the top. If you've got reviews, put those in. If you've been featured in the press, you want to bring in all those trust signals wherever you possibly can. And then, so you'd fill in the headlines.
Sorry, I have a really quick question. My internet dropped out, so I don't know if this was just covered.
Yeah.
What if you don't want to use square images? Every time I try and just use like a 3x2 image, and apologies if this was asked, it says that my optimization isn't letting me, so, or because I'm using automatic ad placement, so I turned off automatic and I'm doing manual and etc. And it's just still not letting me do it. But I've seen other brands do landscape imagery because it suits the pictures we're using a lot more. So I don't know whether you know which placements and conversion combo you need to have landscape imagery, but I've not found one.
So it should work fine for Facebook, just desktop feed.
Okay.
But I would really strongly advise you to get some square imagery, because most Facebook ads appear on mobile. And so like the majority, right, of your clicks are going to come from mobile. So if can you see my phone?
Yeah.
If you're only then taking up, with a landscape, you're only taking up a quarter of the screen. Whereas if you're square, you're half. So you're paying for that ad placement, but you're only getting that much. So all of our ads are optimized for square.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's handy.
No worries. And Square as well works for carousel. Square even works for stories, because it kind of takes up half of stories and then there's room for text at the bottom. So, yeah, I would go back to the drawing board on that one, because as well, you want, as much as possible, you want to have automatic placement.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that allows you to appear wherever someone is, reach the people where they are at. Because I personally go on stories only twice a week. I go on my Instagram feed most days, and I go on Facebook kind of every day or every other day, but I'm an individual. So you want to reach, if you're trying to get to me, you want to reach me wherever I happen to be across platforms, and allow that flexibility. So I'm just gonna add this in. So make sure your links are all there, and you can choose to add a card at the end with your profile picture or not. I don't know if that looks, I suppose that looks okay. And then here, this is really important, guys. This is the primary text. This is your chance to shine with your copy. I've seen a lot of kind of new advertisers will just put like, great quality or something here, and then they just leave it, because, like it's kind of painful building your ads and you're in a rush and you're kind of over it by this point. But this text is so important. We've done so much testing, and we've done so much. I've put in hours and hours of my own time learning about copywriting and figuring out what are the buttons to push and how to write great copy. It's a topic for another day. There's a great book called Cashvertising that I recommend. It applies to like your ad copy, but also your website copy, your Amazon product page copy. I really recommend reading it, especially if you hate copywriting. Copywriting doesn't just mean making the words sound pretty. It's how you use psychology and kind of mental tricks to make people trust you and want to buy from you and want to be part of your kind of your brand family. So for these ads which are going out to cold top of funnel traffic, you want to explain to people who you are and what your product is and why it benefits them. Why should they be interested in it? Don't assume, like in the case of this friend of mine, that this mum already is in the market for looking for baby ear protectors. I'm a mum myself. If I had seen this and you hadn't explained to me why I needed it, I wouldn't have bought it. But he then explained to me that, you know, even traffic noise and sirens can damage a baby's ears. And if I put this on my baby when he's napping, when I'm walking around, there's more chance that he'll stay asleep. So another great reason. So I would have bought it in a second. But if I'd just seen the picture, I would have been like, well, maybe it's for babies that are going to a festival or like they live next to a construction site. So really explaining that benefit of why this product is going to be useful is really important. So you filled all that in, you've added your images, you've added your URL. You can choose your button here. I would advise for top of funnel, probably learn more. It's a bit less salesy, but you can also try shop now if you want to be a bit more straight up, straight to the point. But learn more is a good one, I think. It's a little softer. So that's everything filled in, I think. Oh, and then the ad name, very important. So Jessie Test Carousel. I would encourage you to use a naming convention as follows. I would use the asset name. So in the case of this, it's like the pink. So you could put something like pink muffs and then underscore whatever copy you're using, like maybe the first line of the copy. So I think we said great quality was the first line. And then today's date, which is 5 June 2020. If you follow that, then when you go to analyze your ads further down the track later on, it will just make your life a lot easier. So if you can, you're putting the asset, the copy, and the date. That will really help you. So then you just click publish. And hopefully it will all accept. There you go. And I'm going to make sure right now, as soon as, now bear in mind, you can see this here ticking over 75%, and it's taking its time to publish. Facebook is a little bit slow. Don't try and do something while it's doing that, because it'll glitch out. So you just have to patiently wait until that 75% is full, and then you can look at it. Now I'm going to quickly turn this off, because I don't want to spend his money. Oh, that was the wrong one. That was the wrong one that I turned off. Whoops. I think it was that, wasn't it? So I'm going to turn off this Toff Jessie one that I just created. So just to walk you guys through, so we've got at in the campaign tab, we've got this campaign called Toff Jessie, and it's got one ad set inside it, which is my baby products audience. And then inside that, I've clicked it again, and I've got this one ad. Now, one thing I just thought to just draw to your attention again, I'm just back in the ad set itself and I'm in the settings. One thing I might have glossed past is this button here. So I've selected automatic placements, which is which means I'm allowing Facebook, as we just discussed, to put the ads wherever it wants to within the platform, feed, stories, etc. If you wanted to only go in stories or only go in feed, you'd select manual placements and you'd have the opportunity to choose different ones. I'm going to leave it on automatic. And I'm just going to close that. I'll just publish it. So we've got our first campaign with one ad set in it. And we've got one ad in there. Now, best practice, going back to our little diagram, is we want to have a couple of other ads in there. And then inside this top of funnel campaign, we'd want to have a couple of other ad sets. But in the interest of time, let's park that for now and we can come back to it. And let's just set up the other two bits of the campaign, the middle of funnel and the bottom of funnel. So here we are again. So we're going to click create again. And we're going to click conversions again. And this time it's Moth Jessie. And we're going to toggle this off again. And we're going to go in and create this ad set. So this one is my moth ad set. 180-day visitors, engages, and list. And it's optimized for conversions again. We're going to put it for purchase again. Purchase, all that's the same. But this time we're going to use custom audiences. So what you can do is start typing the custom audiences you want to include. So this is my all website visitors 180-day audience that I created. And then I'm also going to include my 365-day Facebook engages and my 365-day Instagram engages. And if you had that list as well, you'd want to include that. But I'm going to exclude purchase. In this case, I'm going to exclude 90. I'm going to exclude 90-day purchase. For you guys, it depends. You know, you might only want to exclude people who bought in the last 7 days. Maybe you want them to just repeat buy from you every 7 days and you want to keep in front of them. That's up to you. And then the other thing I'm going to exclude from this one is my 30-day site visitors. So as a reminder, back to this, why am I doing that? So this middle of funnel one here, I'm excluding my 30-day visitors because I'm going to have another ad set specially for them. So I'm trying to keep the ad sets clean. In this middle of funnel, I don't want to include my recent really hot visitors in this audience. Hope that makes sense. Any questions on that? No? Okay. And I'm going to untick this. Reach people beyond your detailed targeting selection when it's likely to improve performance, because this audience is really specific. I want to reach these warm people. I don't want to reach anyone else. I want it to just be them. And I want to exclude these people, but I don't want to use Facebook's like extra expansion targeting. I'm going to leave the placements as automatic here. And for this one, I'm only going to put a $5 a day budget, sorry. And I'm going to target USA. So there's that done. And now we've got the opportunity to create a different ad for this warmer audience. We might talk to them a little bit differently in this case. So maybe it would be a single image ad that we create this time. So last time we created a carousel. For this audience, maybe we don't have to explain as much to them and we might just do a single image ad. So let's pick this one and we scroll down here where we can add media. And I'm again going to just select from what he's already got. We might have this cute image. That's funny. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So I probably wouldn't use this image at the moment while the lockdown's on. I think people would find it quite triggering to see like a crowd scene like that. It might just make them feel like disappointed. I'd probably use more at-home imagery, but that's an aside. So same thing here. You want to go down and you're going to put your primary text. It's really important. And then in this case, the headline might be something like that. And then the website URL. In this case, I'm going to the home page again. For middle of funnel, maybe you want to send them deeper into your site. You might want to send them to your product page this time because you're assuming they've already been to your site. So you want to just push them more directly to where they need to go. That could be an option. And you might switch the button to being shop now, like being a little bit more direct. that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
Any questions? So there's this little bit here, description. I haven't filled that in. It's pulling automatically. Our baby earmuffs include a free carry bag. I'm quite happy with that. It's only on a couple of placements that description gets filled in. So you can put stuff in there. It needs to be supplementary. It needs to not be like the key information. This bit here, I will say, like, we often do really, really long text, like all sorts of stuff in here. We, you know, put a whole bunch of information about the product. And what it'll appear like that. So Facebook will show a couple of lines and then the see more. Now you're thinking, well, why would I write all this stuff if it's going to be hidden behind see more? Well, because some people want to like get more information before they'll decide to click. So if the information's not there, they just can't be bothered and they don't want to leave Facebook. But if you use the space to kind of really persuade them, we'll often put like quotes from customers or as seen in Vogue magazine or whatever it might be into there, like that kind of supplementary information that's going to push people over the line and make them want to buy from you. So that's everything for that ad, and that's done with publishing. And I'm going to turn that off as well once it publishes, just being patient. So there we've got our MOF and our, so we've got our 2 campaigns and we've only got to do one more, third one, which is our bottom of funnel. So we can do that and we can create maybe a video ad for this one. So bottom of funnel, there's a debate here. You could potentially use traffic as your goal because you know that these people, you want to target them. You know that they've already visited your site. You know you want to reach them. So you're not bothered about whether Facebook thinks they're going to buy or not. But let's just keep things simple and we'll just go for conversions again. Again, toggle this off. And this is and this one is 30-day website visitors, excluding purchase. Okay, so again, conversions, again, purchase. There we go. These ones toggled off. And we're going to start typing. Because I already created that audience and it's saved, there we've got it there. And I'm going to exclude from this audience my, actually in this case for him, I think I'm going to create a new custom audience of 30-day buyers. No, wait. Because if they've been back to the site and they've just bought in the last 30 days, then are they coming back to the site because they want customer service? Or are they, I'm just trying to think what level of exclusion. I think I'll just exclude 30-day buyers rather than 90-day buyers. So purchase, because people could conceivably come back to buy again, right? So they might want another pair or they might be buying it as a gift. So I've got, this is, I'm going to then exclude this. So I've got all website visitors in the last 30 days, but I'm excluding anyone who's purchased in the last 30 days. And I'm going to target United States. And that's it. I'm going to leave all the rest open. I'm going to untick this one here, automatic placements, and I'm going to put my $5 budget. Yeah, so that's the ad set up. Continue. And now we've got to create the ad. So we can create a video ad now. So I'm going to select single image or video. I'm going to click on, in this case, just for fun, I'm going to click create slideshow. And it's going to give me some templates here that are quite fun. So let's see, which one do we want to use? Let's use this one. So this can be quite nice as a way to create something a bit more fun. So we can have a slideshow of some custom images. On this one, we can put like the brand colors if we wanted to. So like say his brand color was this here, which it isn't, but you can put in the number, the brand number there. And then I can write something like, baby earmuffs are amazing. And I might want to make the text color black. And then here is where I would put my brand in, my logo. So I want to change that image. He's got a logo here. So we can then play it and see what it looks like. It's terrible, but you get the idea. So it's quite a fun way to create a little ad.
Presumably you could upload your own video if you had a sort of promotional video.
You totally can, yeah, exactly. So
I had a quick look, and there's various specs that you need to, yeah, kind of adhere to.
Yeah, I would go for a square video if you can. It does allow you to, I can show you how we do that actually. So they're just processing this video, but if you had a video saved on your in your download on your desktop somewhere, we could upload that. So I can do that for this once this is clear. But let me just fill in the rest of these. You're probably getting bored of me doing this now. I'm doing this quickly, but you need to do this carefully. And I would encourage you to write your copy, write your headlines, prepare your creative separately, get some headspace, really think about it and craft it, and then and have it ready to go to just upload, rather than trying to like be creative and kind of learn this interface and be technical and do this kind of tricky thing at the same time. Because I often see bad ads, and I think it's just because someone's like just, you know, they're stressed out and they're just tapping something in here, and it's not amazing copy. But yeah, so here's our video ad, but let's imagine instead of having this little video that we want to upload a different video. So we would remove this, and instead we'd click add media, and then we can click add video here, and I can upload one that I've got in my downloads here. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
You can now, yeah.
Yeah, my internet went unstable shortly. Okay, so here's the little video that I've uploaded, which has nothing to do with the client, obviously. So yeah, so that's how you would do that. So that's all done. Video ad 1, but you'd use a better name than that. And then click confirm. It's just publishing, sorry about this. So so once that's published, what we then have is we've got your beautiful 3-part campaign. So imagine that these are all you've got. You would be able to this is what it would look like. You'd be able to go and open up your ads manager, and you would be able to see like all your results based on, is it my prospecting, my cold audiences that are like driving all the purchases, or are they mostly coming from bottom of funnel, or are they mostly coming from middle of funnel? Remember, if they're mostly coming from bottom of funnel, that could either be that you're doing some great PR or some great marketing elsewhere. People are coming to your site and then the retargeting is shown to them and making them buy. Or it could be that like the top of funnel ads are like bringing people into the site, and then they're taking it's taking a few further ads to actually close the deal. Now I said we'd come back and create a few more ad sets within each of these. So the middle of funnel one is good to go. You've got your middle of funnel ad set in there, and same with the bottom of funnel. They don't need any new ad sets. But what they do both need is some more ads. I wouldn't run your bottom of funnel or your mid funnel with only one ad, because you're going to really bore people. In fact, you want to have quite a few different ads with different hooks and different angles in each, so that you've got different ways to kind of persuade people. Some people love videos, some people love more kind of content from the founder, recipes, reviews of your product, that kind of stuff. So you would build a whole bunch of different ads in there. But for the top of funnel, we definitely want to have more than one ad set. So we've currently got this one here. And what I would do as a quick hack, what you can do is you can click to create your other audiences. You can click duplicate, and you can click, you choose the original campaign. So where do I want to duplicate this ad set into? I'm going to duplicate it into the original campaign. And here it is. Now this is, at the moment, it's exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down, I'm going to select a different audience. So I'm going to click on create new audience, and I'm going to search for that lookalike audience that I built. And here it is. I've got this lookalike audience of 365-day Instagram engagers. So I'm going to use that one. And I'm going to remember to exclude my 180-day visitors, because this is top of funnel and I don't want it to get muddled. And I'm going to exclude my the actual engagers themselves. So the Instagram engagers and the Facebook engagers as well. Sorry, it's being a little slow. So it's, so, oh, it's not included that lookalike. Click on it. Yeah, there we go. So it's including my 1% lookalike of my 365 days Instagram engagers, and it's excluding anyone who's been on my site or engaged with my channels in the last 180 or 365 days. And I'm just going to make sure, that it's excluding those guys as well. So this is a pure cold audience for prospecting. And that's it. I'm just going to publish that. And now I've got, oh, I forgot to rename it. So it's just publishing. While it's publishing, don't do anything because it'll glitch out. Once it's published, you can then go in and you can just change the name. I'm just going to shut this one here. And I'm going to click on the edit button. And this one is, if you recall, it's the 1% lookalike of 365-day Instagram engagers. And it's excluding the 180-day website visitors and excluding the Insta FB engagers. That just reminds me that I've done my exclusions properly and exactly who I'm targeting there. And that is, for some reason, in draft. Let's have a look. Maybe it's still publishing. When it's green like that, it means it's in draft and it still needs to publish. So let's just click publish. It's publishing. There we go, it's done. So now I've got two lovely audiences here. Now they've both got, because I duplicated it, this new one has that same ad in it, which is great because I want them to have the same ads. Now, as I said before, best practice is to have more than one ad, probably 2, maybe 3 ads in here. So let's go ahead and put a new ad in here. So we'll click create, but instead of creating the whole, instead of creating a whole new campaign and ad set, we're creating it, it's prompted us, we're using the existing ad set, which is the one we're in. Yeah, so that's what we want to do. Yes, we want to use that existing ad set. And now we've got this opportunity to create another ad within that ad set, which we can then go through and do. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? No? Okay. So I won't bore you with creating the ad. You know what I mean by, you know how it all works now to do that. So essentially what we've done is we've now got a top of funnel campaign, which has 2 ad sets in it. So we might want to create a third depending on our budget. We've got a middle of funnel campaign that has 1 ad set, and we've got a bottom of funnel campaign that has 1 ad set. And then we've got, at the moment, we've only got 1 ad for each of these. So the next job really is to create a couple more ads for these top of funnel ones. Another trick is, let me just abandon this. I'll just go back to Ads Manager. Leave this page. As you can duplicate ads easily between different accounts, between different parts of your campaign, which is a really good thing to be able to do.
Actually, quick question. Where you set up your budget £5 a day, but then you've got multiple ads, you said that Facebook would then work out which is performing better. You don't need to manage that, right?
Exactly. So let's imagine that we've got this ad set here. It's only got 1 ad, but let's just duplicate. We can just duplicate this ad into the same place. So imagine that.
And then go in and just edit that ad if you want different images and copy and that, right?
Exactly. So that's quite a good hack, as like if you want, like if it's because it's the same link, the same tracking, all of that, and you just might want to change just the image or just the copy. In this case, I've just published it exactly the same. But what you've got now is like in this 1 ad set here that I've clicked on, I've got 2 ads, and then ultimately you want to get to a point where you've got 3. And yeah, so that's what Facebook will do. So if I show you guys a live account, so going back to that one I was showing you guys, you can see how it looks when it's set up like that. And what you want to do is, say you had 3 or 4 ads running, after about a week, and if there's one particular ad that's not working so well, you might turn that off and create a new ad. You want to always be kind of putting new creative in there, because you're always one creative away from that like amazing sales day. And it really is, like I cannot stress enough, we focus very much on the tech and the tracking and the setup. But once you've got that nailed, the main thing that's going to drive your campaign is your creative and your copy, and it being really like standout, persuasive, making people feel that you're trustworthy, that it's quality, that their life is going to be worse if they don't buy this thing, that they feel like they've found something really cool they want to be part of. And that's really good marketing, and that's what it comes down to. But yeah, as I explained before with this ad account, we've got the 3 ad sets here, and we can go into one of them and have a look at what ads they've got running. So these are some of the old ones that we were running before, and these are the 4 that we've got live at the moment. And we can look at it over a 7-day period, and we can see, okay, which one's driving the most results. This ad here is really, really working for us. That's great. And it's Facebook is kind of controlling that process for us. We don't need to like now go, okay, we'll turn off all the rest of these ads and just leave that one running. Because actually, even though this is the one driving most of the purchases and Facebook has delivered this like much more often, Facebook is still delivering these other ads to people. And it's constantly testing whether these other ads might have started to do better, or whether this one started to kind of run out of steam. Or it also likes to just show different ads to people who have maybe seen the first one, but not clicked, and it will like opt to show them a different ad, and maybe that will be the ad that will make them make them make that purchase. So that's why it's so important to have more than one ad in there. So yeah.
Thank you.
I just wanted to check.
Sorry, just to go back quickly. I know we had the duplicate bit, but I think I did kind of miss the bit where you said, like, if we were going to add a second ad into that campaign, we weren't going to duplicate it.
Right,
you
yeah.
clicked it, yes, use original. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. So if you wanted to create it for this ad set, you'd go into this ad set, go into the ad section, and then click create, and then it should.
Yeah.
So it's prompting me, sort of asking me, okay, do you want to put it in here and here? Yes. Okay.
Oh, fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it. Yeah.
And then click continue. Yeah.
Cheers.
No worries.
Sorry, my question was just on that, the A/B testing thing. So your advice is never to actually use the Facebook functionality for A/B testing. It's just create your own, essentially your own A/B tests.
Yeah, exactly. I guess what you're using, instead of A/B testing, you're using Facebook's algorithm, which has more kind of knowledge and power than you have at your disposal about what people are doing and their behavior and other, whether someone's hovering over an ad or whether they're like dwelling on it, whether they're generally shopping for this kind of stuff, like all this other information. It's using that to optimize your ads. Whereas A/B testing is you're saying, show this ad to an equal number of people and I'll decide, and then I'll let the data decide which ad is best. But by putting 3 or 4 ads into one ad set, you're saying, Facebook, go do your thing, figure it out, and that tends to work best. It's not to say you would never use A/B testing. I just think at this early stage in your ads kind of journey, it's best to just let Facebook do it. And as you kind of gain more understanding of your metrics and KPIs, and maybe you've got there might be a solid business reason why you want to use A/B testing. Like one of my clients once used it because they wanted to test like some taglines for their business, and they just wanted to get really good, robust data on which tagline genuinely scientifically performed better. Whereas this is more using the algorithm is like going to get you the best sales overall.
And changing to what am I trying to say, to variants is okay, right? So like the problem with the A/B testing we found is that you can either change the variant of the audience or like the creative, whereas I guess this gives you the opportunity to actually test to a slightly different audience with maybe slightly different wording that you actually think might work better for that audience, and that's fine to do. Yeah
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good thing to do. So like, you might have one audience, like in that example of that I was giving before, like, the Harley Davidson audience, you might talk about kind of whiskey being nostalgic or whatever, and then to the Ocado audience, the notes of pepper or something, like it's a different message.
Thank you.
Cool. So we've got about 7 minutes. Do people have burning questions that they want to cover before we wrap up? Don't be shy.
I have a question actually. So we've already got some ads running, which I'm now going to go and redo because you've given such good advice. So on my dashboard, I think they've been set up to do traffic rather than conversion, which obviously you spoke about. But is that why I can't see what money it's generated? So I can see how many link clicks I've got, how many landing page views I've got, the cost per result, all of that. But I can't see anything to do with, right, this many people got to the checkout and this many people actually spent some money.
So have you got is the pixel tracking purchases?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. What's your website? Let's just have a quick look.
BaysKitchen.com.
Yeah. So I won't be able to tell if it's tracking purchase unless I do one, but we can just have a quick look. Yeah, looks fine. And then if I were to like a good kind of smell test for me to know whether it's likely to be tracking purchase is whether it's tracking add to cart and view content. Is it a Shopify site?
It's a WooCommerce.
Okay. So you've got, hold on, let's see. Okay, so Right. So you what you need to set up, this is pretty tech, but what you want to set up as well as the purchase events is you want to set up a catalog for the Facebook pixel, because that will allow you, because you want to know the like basket value of what people have bought off the back of your ads, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to know, like, so if there's people just coming and buying 1 jar versus people coming and buying like 100 jars, you want to optimize for the big purchases for the people that are spending more. And at the moment, that data is not going to be pulling through into Facebook because you haven't got a catalog set up. For WooCommerce, I recommend a plugin called, I'll put it in the chat, if I can figure out how to get to it. Okay, it's the Q&A more chat. It's called Pixel My Site. I think it's called Pixel My Site, or Pixel Your Site maybe. Might be Pixel Your Site. But and that you would add that plugin in, and then it would allow you to set up a catalog. But if we have got add to basket, and that doesn't, so if purchase is tracking still, you can still see how many purchases actually happened. You just won't know the revenue data that's come off the back of that. So yeah, add to cart has collect, oh, and currency GBP. Yeah, actually, so the good news is it has actually pulled the value 395 in the currency through. So you will actually be able to tell. It's just that there isn't a catalog. So a catalog, it might be useful. A catalog allows you to run those ads that like show people exactly what product they looked at, but it is a bit more of an extra technical step. So
is that the product catalog within Business Manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that all set up with the Pixel.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah.
It's not picking up that particular product. Let's have a look again. It may well be that there's just an issue with this event. This view content event is not firing properly.
Okay.
The fact that when we added to cart, it pulled the value and everything, and there was no warnings coming up about no catalog, suggests, yeah, that your catalog is correct. So let's assume your catalog is working and your purchase event is working. It's just a case of allowing those columns. Okay. So when you go into Ads Manager, and this is probably really useful for everyone, by the way, these columns, like you can choose these different columns settings, but I find none of the preset ones to be any good at all. So I've created my own, which you just do by clicking on the plus button here, click on customize columns, and then you would put purchase and tick that, and then you would click on value, and you would click on purchase return on ad spend, and you click on cost. So all of those there, and then that will tell me, okay, so from this campaign, so now I've got this column and I can see 138 purchases. I can tell the return on ad spend, which is like, that's how many pounds I'm getting back for every pound of spend. So
okay.
Yeah, and
yeah,
then
I've got that.
Oh, cool. And then the amount of actual purchase conversion value, like how much revenue I've driven from this campaign.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, and then can I get rid of some of the columns as well, doing the same thing?
So when you click on plus, click on customize, and then you can just go like this and delete and like choose all the ones that you want, apply, and then if you click this drop down again, you can then save that as a preset of columns.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and then what I do is once I've got my perfect columns, I then take that URL and I save that as a bookmark, and then you can see here like why I'm able to like quickly get into my clients' ad accounts and quickly see the numbers, because it is really important to check it, you know, once or twice a day. Cool, guys. So I hope that all made sense. I know we dove pretty deep into kind of the funnel stuff, but the reason why I focused on it is because if you don't get that stuff right, you really won't know what parts of your campaign are working. And having retargeting is so important because, as I explained at the very beginning, most people don't buy stuff from independent brands that they don't know unless they get some nudges along the track and get convinced over maybe several days or weeks and see lots of different ads from you, and then once they do, they'll be more likely to purchase from you. So just doing prospecting isn't enough, and muddling up your prospecting with your retargeting will cause you to not really have much idea of what's working and what's not in your account.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Jessie.
That was very helpful.
And yeah, feel free to email me for those couple of documents that I was referring to, and that kind of screenshot of the layout of the campaign. Happy to send those over.
Yep, I'll include your email in the recording.
Perfect.
Cool. Thanks very much, Jessie. And thanks very much, everyone, for coming along.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks, Jesse. Thanks, Tara.
Thanks, guys. Good luck. Bye.
Thanks.